Good morning, everyone. Just wait for you all to start entering the chat. How's that? Is that looking good? How are you all going? Can you just let me know that you can hear me okay? Check out the sunshine. Check it out. All clear. Yo, what's going on, everyone? Good morning. You're coming on my morning walk. How old am I? I'm 32. So pretty where I am. This is England, and it's not always pretty in the morning. And sometimes it's like gloomy. Most of the time, it's gloomy, dark, and cloudy. Thought we'd do a little Q&A live stream in the morning for you guys. Just on my way to the gym. Thoughts on Jason Casino? I don't really have anything to say about him. I don't really know anything about him. I'm not sure. Like, he's not vegan anymore. Maybe is he joining the trend? Is he? People like him have no bears. They have no credibility anyway. What? He's gone back to being unethical. I don't know. I've not followed his story at all. So for me to have an opinion on something, I'd have to know the ins and outs. Yeah. So let's keep looking through these. Be vegan for 3 years and turned my mum vegan. Amazing. How to convince meat eaters that we can feed pets a plant-based diet. People are so horrible towards vegans about it and say it's cruel. Oh my God. The pets vegan thing. Okay, well, there's actually a study they did on vegetarian cats and dogs. You can look it up. You can actually email me if you want the study. I think I've got it in my notes. But basically, there is no specific nutrient in meat that can't be synthesized. And, you know, like, look at Beyond Meat. Look how amazing they are at, like, mimicking the macronutrient profile of meat. And all you need to do then is add some nutrients like we do with like our own supplementation. So if you mimic the macronutrient profile of meat with plants, and then you add in the appropriate, nutrient profile for dogs and vitamin, there's no reason why a dog can't eat specifically designed food made out of plants that can help them thrive. I don't think a dog or a cat has more moral value than the pig or cow that people feed to them. Nowhere in nature do you see domesticated cats ripping tuna fish out of the ocean. That's absolutely ludicrous. And your cat does not have that enough moral value to justify fishing out the oceans, killing sentient sea animals, just so they can have, fish, which is not even like. And people say, well, what about the natural obligate omnivores? And cats are not even naturally occurring animals. They're like selectively bred, domesticated house cats. Like, how can you justify destroying the environment and killing dozens of other sentient beings, hundreds of other sentient beings, to sustain a house pet like a cat or a dog? I can look after them, but if you can design a diet like we do with Beyond Meat, macronutrient profile the same as meat, not really that much supplements that the cats or other sentient beings to feed domesticated animals. So, how to be an activist online using social media. I want to tell you something, Audrey. I didn't actually know that my page would get large. I mean, I'm not the biggest vegan on social media by any means, but I do have a very strong animal rights message, which is a lot harder to develop a following with. Not everyone wants to hear about their choices being responsible for gas chambering animals and stealing calves from mothers. And, you know, I'm very graphic with my description and very hardlined in my approach. But I didn't set out to get a following. I set out to inspire and to create change, and I had a passion. And that's what you need to focus on. You need to focus on your message. You need to focus on sharing your light that you have in your heart, your desire to change the world. And you know, and when you focus on that instead of focusing on following, focus on bringing value and bringing an important message and defending animals, then the following will come. So that's what you need to focus on. What really do you want to achieve? What is your intention? Not, hey, I'm going to do this to get a following. Obviously, I don't think that that's your primary. I'm not suggesting that was your primary focus, but it seems to be a bit of your focus. What if you really generate your power to all of your energy towards trying to get the message out there and focus on your intention with it, what you want your outcome to be, the following will come. And I never set out to develop this massive following, like, you know what I mean? I just set out, I was like, you know, I've been taking for a lot of my life. I've been causing so much hardship, and you know, I've been an addict. I've been in gangs. I've been violent. I want to leave a positive mark on earth. I want to do something that will leave a positive legacy, and not like, I don't want people to remember me for, you know, when I went off track for all those years. So I had this desire inside of my heart, and I wanted to spread that. And you know, everything that happened basically followed on from my desire to create change. It was not like I want to make money from YouTube or I want to develop a following. It was, if you want to follow, I suppose the reason you want a following is so you can influence a lot of people. But I think just focus on your message and focus on your intention. The following will come. And also another thing I want to say is that you don't need to affect thousands of people with a post. Just 2 or 3 or a dozen. Think about that. Think about talking to a dozen people on the streets. How much energy and time and you know it's just focus you're putting into those conversations. On social media, you can reach a dozen people with no energy, just the click of the fingers. So if you're reaching a dozen people, that's more than you're going to in any other, like, now that we have social media, you can reach a dozen people with a click of a finger. How amazing is that? Think about that. And if you influence 2 of those people to, you know, make different choices in the supermarket, you've effectively created social change. That's what activism is. Now, I think when you start getting caught up in the following and going, oh my God, this guy's got more following than me, that doesn't mean he's making more of a difference in the lives of individuals than you. You could have less following, have a more pronounced, powerful message, and affect someone in a more profound way. I know I've seen people with like 1 million followers, right? And not bringing much substance, not bringing something that's going to change someone's life forever. You know what I mean? But you can have 5,000 followers and you can affect 50% of them in a way that changes their life forever. You know what I mean? So it's more about quality, the quality of your message. How you focus on, you know, how am I going to inspire and motivate people to make better choices and to help animals, and, you know, focus on the victims and what they're going through, their suffering. And no matter what you're following, you'll keep going just based on doing what's right. Yeah, sorry, that opened up a big. I thought you were in jail. No, Mo, I haven't been in trouble with the police for at least 6 or 7 years now. 7 years, I think. This guy turned me vegan a year ago. Keep the questions rolling through, guys. I don't really want to keep scrolling. If I see it, if I go past your question, just ask it again, and I'll just answer it. What would you do if a carnivore eats raw meat at one of your street events? Yeah, that kind of depends. That kind of depends. Anyone who does that, it kind of makes me wonder whether or not they're worth having a civil discussion with. I don't really know how I'd approach. I guess it would be on a case by case basis how I would approach that. You know, if they're willing to have civil discourse, then I would. But for me, it's not really that much different than it is generally trying to antagonize a group of activists who are standing up for justice, but it's not really it's, when you see someone eating Burger King, right? Like when you're sitting on a plane and there's like everyone eating chicken, and you've got the vegan option and you can smell the flesh and they're eating that chicken. So it's kind of different context, but it's not really that much different. They're eating abused animals around you, like, but it's just that the carnivore's going to deliberately antagonize the activist group. I guess I wouldn't flip out. I mean, I wouldn't go, oh my God. I just don't approach things like that. I mean, it would be on a case by case basis. I don't know till it would happen, but yeah, I would approach it calmly and rationally and have discourse with the individual probably, and I would probably be there to calm any of the activists down who got a bit too worked up because of it, because it would be quite emotional for some people as well. Um, what if the whole world goes vegan and more insects die due to pesticides than now? Well, that doesn't make any logical sense, Rom, every day, because we're feeding most of the plant foods to animals, and all those plant foods we're feeding to animals are getting sprayed with pesticides. So by virtue of the world going vegan, would need less plant foods, less plant agriculture, and therefore less pesticides. The vegan lifestyle causes the least amount of harm and the least amount of plant agriculture and the least amount of resource use and the least amount of pesticide use. So yeah, that doesn't make any logical sense if you think that through. Like, thanks for the question. Please debate Dr. Zakir Nakik. Sorry, I can't pronounce that. I don't know who that is. How do you talk to someone who doesn't want to listen because they only care about their taste buds and doesn't want that pleasure to go away? Okay, so you're talking about someone who only cares about taste play. So they say, this is another case by case basis thing. How would I deal with it? Well, it just depends. It just depends on the individual and whether or not they're willing to have a civil discussion about it and whether they're open to dialogue. If they don't want dialogue, why force dialogue? You know, it's really like, why would you bang your head against the wall, waste your energy, burn yourself out mentally talking to someone who doesn't want to listen when there are about 7.5 billion other people out there, with a large percentage of people who would listen and you could have an amazing conversation with. I don't see why you would, burn yourself out mentally on people who don't want to hear what you got to say. But I get the taste though thing a lot, and that probably would have been me like 6 or 7 years ago. I would have been like, yeah, but come on, it tastes so good. I don't really want to see that. Burgers taste good. They do. Like, no one's debating whether or not you can make a hunk of flesh seasoned up. You change the flesh so much, like through cooking and through seasoning with plants, and put it in between bread with sauce. No one's debating that can taste good. No one's debating that human flesh, if you grind it up and minced it up and add seasoning to it, herbs and spices, and put it between bread with sauce, would taste fine. Like, because you derive pleasure from an action doesn't therefore justify that action. You could justify a whole bunch of immoral things by using the justification it feels good. We can go into those things, but I'm sure you could think about those things yourself. Like, gaining pleasure out of an action does not justify an action when there is a victim. So you could mention that. You could ask them a simple question like, do you think do you think because you derive pleasure from an action that has a clear victim, do you think that that action is therefore justified? And you could ask them that question and just, but if they don't want to talk to you, move on to the next person, because there's no point burning yourself out on people who just don't want to hear it. Like, you've got so much to give it to those who, for the most part, are half willing to have a discussion with you, even if they don't agree. If they're willing to have discourse, then have that discussion with them. I don't know how to check my I don't know how to check those top chat, live chat, super chat. Okay, here we go. Is there anything in the super chat? Okay, here we go. Wow, someone's given me, wow, thanks for the donation, CDN the third. Keep on keeping on, brother. Thank you so much, man. That's really generous of you, eh? I didn't expect that. And thank you too, Matthew Rodburn. What would you be, or a wasp? What would you be, or a wasp? What would you be, or a wasp? I don't know what you mean by that. I can't answer. What would you be, or a wasp? It doesn't really make sense. Maybe you ask it in a different way, but live chat. Let's go to live chat. Let's see at least. Okay. Which area are you in the UK? I'm in the UK. I'm in England. Joey, kind of slow. No, it was a joke. If it was a joke or a serious question, I'm not really sure. But yeah, Joey, I love you. You're awesome. Too easy to go vegan. Vegan food tastes better and no animals raped and murdered. That's so true. That's a very true statement. Thoughts on Alabama abortion ban? I can't comment on something that I haven't looked into. I don't know the ins and outs of the ban and so I can't comment on that. I think abortion is a very complicated topic. There's so many individuals to consider, and I really, there's so many different scenarios with that in terms of it's just a really, really deep and complicated topic, and I don't know anything about the actual law that was passed, so I can't really comment on it. But I do think that when you talk about a topic like that, you have a responsibility, and you need to think it through very carefully and think of all the different types of scenarios that can arise. And yeah, it's a very complicated topic. Oh, Henchy Boy's in the house. Henchy Boy's been going off lately. How are you, the cutest little bean? Jacko Wacko, I really like Jacko. I really like Jacko. He reminds me of my brother. He's a bit of a larrikin, he's happy-go-lucky, but it kind of was. I think maybe he was suffering some mental health issues. Probably. I haven't actually discussed this with Jacko, and I haven't watched his videos through, but I think he might have had some mental health issues that he was pretty open about, and alcohol and crappy food doesn't help. Would I just completely write Jacko off as a human being? Not at all. I mean, Jacko's been very supportive of my work, and I think that he's become confused, filled with doubt, and misguided, and I don't see him as a complete write-off. Anyone can, people go through things in life, and it might set them off course, and they might become a little bit, confused, and, mental health problems are really complicated, and I think it's important to support Jacko. I personally think, if he was my mate or my little brother or something, and my little brother was going through something like that, I'd be there dude, the worst thing you could do is just have a full-on go at him. You know what I mean? Like, um, just offer offer your ear and some advice. And I actually reached out to him recently. I was actually felt a bit bad that I hadn't reached out sooner, but I was obviously filming this. I was going through my own, you know, quite hectic things. So, but yeah, these things happen. Thing with mental health, I've suffered mental health issues for years. I was on multiple different types of medication. I was using substances. I was uh, in gangs, and sorry, it's really loud here. And lifestyle, environment, diet, exercise, sunshine, those things really help mitigate the symptoms of anxiety and depression. I'm not saying it's going to deal with the root cause, but what I am saying is that it will create an environment inside of you that makes it a lot easier to deal with the symptoms of them and to mitigate the symptoms of them. So if you're getting out, getting sunshine, getting exercise, staying off the alcohol and the drugs and other substances, vegan diet with lots of fruit, berries, nuts and seeds, you know, whole food beans and starches and legumes, and you're out there riding your bike, getting the vitamin D. You're making sure that if you're not getting vitamin D, that you've got like a backup plan, which is some supplementation. Your B12 is on point, lots of water, getting enough sleep, all of those things. You're going to help mitigate the symptoms of your mental health issues. This is coming from someone who had serious mental health issues for a lot of my for a lot of my teenage years and the early my early 20s. So I know like I'm not someone who's just going like, no, I understand the complexities. And the worst thing you can do when it comes to mental health issues is drink alcohol to quieten your anxiety. Worst thing. It's like it's on par with taking Xanax or some type of anti-anxiety to deal with it. It's really like um, it's very counterintuitive, and it's going to backfire on you very hard. Um, I don't have time. I can't actually deal with any of the trolls with by blocking them. So you're just going to have to like deal with it. JC, are you related to Rob Wog? No, but I think we were in a past life. Rob Wog, I really love Rob Wog. He's a great guy. He's been vegan for many years, 2 decades, and he's a really good guy. Really good guy. Vegan equals a natural diet. What does that even mean, natural diet? Um, I don't know. Like, if someone says like, even saying like eating meat is natural, what does that mean? Like, it doesn't bear any. Like, the thing is about veganism, it's an ethical principle. It's a moral principle. Like, nature has got nothing to do with moral principles. Like, just if you just look at nature out like right there, like morals. You need like we need to conceptualize our moral principle so that we go, okay, these are the moral principles we're going to adhere to be consistent, and so we can have a functioning civilized society. Okay, where on earth does nature come into that? Like, I don't know. Veganism is not even a diet. Like, that's what it's really. This is a really big misconception, and let's clear this up. Like, veganism is not a diet. It is a moral principle, an ethical philosophy. You know, diet. Your diet can be consistent with that ethical philosophy, but the diet is not the philosophy. You know what I mean? Like, people are like, oh, veganism's a diet. That they are completely misunderstood, or not even looked into this, or they don't even know. Like, you get a huge percentage of vegans that don't even know what the philosophy is they adhere to. They just think, oh yeah, no, I eat mostly plant-based, or eat plant-based here, and they contribute to animal exploitation in every other area. Like, people who think veganism is about health, this is crazy. There's nothing to do with health in the vegan society's definition of vegan. Look it up, dude. See that plane? Captured that. Look it up, right? A whole foods plant-based diet happens to be superior in terms of health outcomes, right? And it happens to be consistent with the philosophy of veganism, if there's no animal products in that diet. But veganism is not the diet. There's nothing to do with health, it's to do with animals. Avoiding animal products for any reason, as far as practically possible, animals. So yeah, we need to be clear about that. But like, just so happens that avoiding animal products is better for health in every way. Like, there's no debating that. Oh, there's people that will debate it, but there's no question on that. Let's have a look at the super chats here for a sec. You liking this walk? Forever wishing you could come to California. I'm sorry I can't go to America for now. Thanks, Ted Coombs, for the donation there. You're absolutely amazing. Namaste, Joey. Keep on keeping on. Namaste, Kennedy. That's actually your name, Namaste, Kennedy. Now, peace to you, my brother. I think namaste means I see you, and it's kind of like I see you. It's more of a spiritual kind of, but yeah, I see you too, my brother. Are plant-based burgers bad for you as it's processed? You look at look, I'm not going to say that, like, well, not all plant-based burgers are equal, for starters. You can make a plant-based burger out of black beans and legumes blended up with, even you could make it with like a seitan patty, low in fat. But if you get something like a Beyond Burger, it's not really anything to do with health. The Beyond Burger, it could be healthier because it doesn't contain both cholesterol and saturated fat. But a Beyond Burger is loaded with saturated fat and oil. So just I would keep them to a minimum. But what it doesn't have is the body parts of an animal who's bolt gunned in the head and slashed across the throat, and like megatons of resources used to feed these animals, and just animal agriculture as a whole. Like, this is made out of plants, so this is the good thing about plant-based burgers. And not all plant-based burgers are equal. Some are super healthy. I could make you a plant-based burger right now that would be super healthy. You could add spinach and black beans and flax seeds, and you could make your own plant-based burger that would just be amazing. But you can also get the ones that like filled with fat and oil and just so tasty. So tasty. But no animal was stabbed in the throat, which is fantastic. So yeah, it just depends. Not all plant-based burgers are equal. Thanks for your question, my brother. Hi, Joey. You're a wonderful soul. Thank you, Von Diva, the rebel. Hence, Sherba was in the chat, chatting away. Engine 2 probably makes the healthiest store-bought vegan burgers. I wouldn't doubt that. They're no oil. Look, oil. And I'm not saying like if you want to have optimum artery health and optimum health, and it's probably best to keep processed oils to a minimum. But I have seen that study reference where like they removed animal fat from the diet and added in plant fat, and they had 30% less instances of cardiovascular disease, which is interesting, like very interesting. So plant fat's obviously superior to animal fat in terms of health outcomes for heart disease anyway. But still, like, I avoid oil most of the time. Oil is just so calorie dense, and it's, it's not, it makes you feel pretty crap. But like, look, live your life, but just be aware of like, super refined products. Heart disease though, eliminate oil. Like if you've got like, some heart issues or some buildup of plaque in your arteries, like your doctor says, oh, you've got heart disease or whatever, avoid oil at all costs. Please. All vegan products should be supported and promoted, even if you don't eat that particular brand. I'm on your side with that one, mate. I'm on the animal side with that one. Support vegan products no matter who is selling them, no matter which company is selling them. Buy the vegan product. And even if you don't particularly eat that, even if you don't particularly eat that product, don't oppose it. Don't oppose it. If McDonald's brought out a vegan burger, don't oppose it just because you don't want to eat the for animals. Good for cows. Let's look at it from the animals' perspective. If McDonald's put a vegan option on every single McDonald's on Earth, and everyone had that option, people are going to walk into McDonald's and see it and go, "Wow, I seen that video of those cows being slaughtered the other day. I've got a vegan option that's better than, murdered cow body." So I think what happens is people hear like these big corporate names and they have an emotional reaction. They're like, "I hate McDonald's." Don't get me wrong, McDonald's is bloody evil. I think it's a good corporation with the best in mind for humans, animals, and the earth. Of course, I know that's not true. But if they put on a vegan option, we need to get behind it. We need to get behind it because it helps cows in the end of it. It helps animals. This is how we can change corporate. If everyone bought the vegan burger, they put on another one, then they can change the whole menu. Imagine if we turned McDonald's vegan. They decided that using soy patties was better financially for them. That's all they care about. They only care about money. They don't care about nothing else. They figure out soy patties. They actually taste better. They're selling really well, and they're more. They financially make sense. You know what I mean? And they turn the whole restaurant's vegan. Imagine that. Like, if we don't buy the vegan burger, well, guess what they do? They take it off the menu. They take it off the menu. And then there's no option at McDonald's, and people just think veganism's it makes the veganism a little bit harder. You know what I mean? We want this to be as easy as possible for your average person. Your average family, your average person who's having a party, getting drunk with their mates on the weekend. They go into McDonald's, their mates are getting burgers, and there's a vegan burger for them. We need these options to exist. I think we need to put our emotions aside and think about like what's best for animals and use our logic. Okay. Oh my God, dude. CD the third. On behalf of my fellow vegan brothers and sisters, we appreciate the hell out of you, Joe. Thank you. Dude, you're just a legend. Thank you, mate. He just gave me a really amazing donation. Thanks, man. Thank you, dude. I really appreciate that. I mean, are you a guy or a girl? I can't really tell by your name or your profile picture, but just thank you so much. Wow. Thank you so much. Really appreciate the support, everyone. Like, I've got such an amazing support network, and I'm not going to say it doesn't make things easier. It does make things, sometimes it can be get to you a little bit, like, but you guys really make things it's like we've got a good supportive community here. And, there's a lot of adversity. There's a lot of negative comments, and I get my fair share of them. Don't you worry. But like, you guys really show solidarity, and it means a lot. So thank you. I love you for that. Vegan men have really low testosterone, probably why built like a stick. Irish David. Tell Hench Herbivore that, mate. Tell Hench Herbivore that. And David, where's your picture? Can you send me a picture of what you look like, please? I want to see how big you're built. I've seen plenty of meat and dairy eaters that are built like sticks. What do you think that's got anything to do with their meat and dairy intake, or do you think that's got to do with the fact they don't train? Because I'm not built like a stick. Don't have lower testosterone. Show us the research that says vegans have lower testosterone. It's actually the opposite. Henchy, tell him. What happened to your dog? Oh no, that was Laura's dog, Waldo. Waldo was 19 years old, and he lived Laura got Waldo when he was about 8 or 9, so she had him for and he was abused before Laura got him, and she had a lot of work to try to get him to trust, and she just showed him utmost love and looked after him with all her heart. And she spent the last 6 months just caring for him 24/7 and spoon feeding him, and then like she just evaluated whether or not keeping him alive was the most moral thing to do, so she had to let him go. And he was becoming disabled, and he had dementia. It was, things that happen to 20-year-old dogs. So it's just, he was a little Jack Russell cross, and he was a rescue. But it's really sad because he was like a member of the family, and it was really, really upsetting to see him go. And Laura's very distraught about it and trying to be as supportive as I can. My dog in Adelaide. Oh, well, don't deflect. What are you being an arsehole for, Adam? My dog in Adelaide? What do you mean what happened to my dog in Adelaide? Fucking remove. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Don't deflect. I thought you were talking about the dog, Waldo, that passed away. My dog's in Adelaide, but that's my brother, and he's with my brother. And my other dog, Snooky, is my mum's. She's with my mum. So what are you talking about? People are just fucking fucked in the head. Sorry about that, guys. I don't usually swear, but he said you abandoned a dog in Adelaide. Whatever. You don't know nothing about me, mate. Nugget was my dad's. My dad passed away. I had care of Nugget for a year. Okay. My brother took Nugget on because the Nugget was originally my brother's. I don't have to tell you my personal business anyway. Okay. Nugget's with my brother, and Snooky's with my mum. Fucking dickhead. Anyway. Yeah, they are. They're just like, where's your dog you abandoned? Well, you want to get a conspiracy theory happening, mate? Like, the Yulin Dog Fest. So Jane Ellison has donated 50 DKK. I don't know what that is. The Yulin Dog Festival is soon. What do you think about that? And do you think we can ever stop it? Go vegan, peace. Jane, the Yulin Dog Festival is absolutely horrific, and the majority of the population oppose it already. If you walked about 15 kilometers down the road, so for me, my primary focus is the animals that aren't. The people support the slaughter and torture of animals in most animals in our countries. And vegan advocacy stops that. So you advocate veganism to people who support the abuse and torture of cows, chickens, and pigs and fish. You can stop that over here. When it comes to the dog meat trade, where Newland and stuff, a little bit trickier to stop because none of us support it. We all oppose it already. They do it. We could bring in laws. We could try to affect laws in different countries. For the most part, like, you're going to spend, when we have, I could go for a walk right now. It'd take me probably 30 minutes. I'd get to a slaughterhouse that slaughters more animals in a few months than is slaughtered in Newland, than dogs are slaughtered in Newland in a year. You know what I mean? Like in one slaughterhouse here in England. And that's supported by the public. That is supported. People defend the torture and slaughter of pigs and chickens and fish. Defend it like with all their heart. But Newland, they oppose with all their heart, and it's in a completely different continent on the other side of the world. And the numbers don't even. Obviously, it's horrible dogs are tortured and killed. Horrible. I hate it. If I seen anyone torture and kill a dog, I would be mortified. But I see people torture and kill chickens by the billion, and no one blinks an eye. People will tease me, mock me for defending them, and I think that's huge hypocrisy. Huge hypocrisy. I'd love to go to Yulin and defend those dogs, like, for sure, and I will say something about that. But the hypocrisy inherent in society is absolutely laughable, and it's so blatantly insane to oppose the exact same thing just based on species that you support every time you have a sandwich. It's just so insane. Um, okay, so hold on, thank you. I'm a big fan. I was told not to invoke political opinions in regards to my veganism at my high school. I'm very politically charged and was curious as to how I should go about it. Thanks, man. Well, that's fine because Cameron, a political is not veganism isn't to do with politics. It's to do with ethics. You know what I mean? Like, is it really a political position to be against child abuse? Is it really a political position to oppose animal abuse? You know, I mean, I guess you could, you could start to push it into the political argument, changing laws and stuff like that. But for the most part, like, veganism is a philosophy on ethics. It's about being consistent with your moral position, like with your actions and your morals. There's a, you know, like, I just say, like, people conflate veganism with politics. Doesn't matter where you sit on the political spectrum, you can still be a vegan, unless you're I guess there's extremes to that, but yeah, just I'd say, like, veganism is an ethical position, nothing to do with politics. Do you recommend vegan ice cream but not sorbet? Why do you recommend vegan ice cream but not sorbet? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, I don't understand that. Facts and logic destroy kindness nonsense every time. Yeah, Lewis, you're amazing. You're in the comment section of every single vegan video. Joey, wait, so you're a positive guy, but a pump action shotgun was found in your vehicle. Doesn't make sense. It wasn't found in my vehicle. Get your facts straight, dude. It was down my trousers. And that was 7 years ago. And I'm the one who told everyone about that. And you're acting like no one knows. I was in gangs. I'm a positive guy. Yeah, of course I am. I was involved with gangs for a period of my life. Turn my life around. Now I help animals, and I haven't assaulted anyone for 6 years. So what are you trying to say? Do you think you found some dirt on me that no one knows? Yeah, I had to carry a gun to defend myself. You come in my world back then for 5 minutes, and you tell me what you would have done. Come in my world back then for 2 minutes of your life, you probably buckle in the corner. I did what I had to do to defend myself. I was not in the right place mentally, and now I am. And now I try to influence change. I live and adhere to a non-violent lifestyle now towards animals and towards humans. So, just like what you're saying is just pathetic. You're trying to, like, I don't know. What are you doing? It doesn't affect me whatsoever. For innocent animals to be stabbed in the throat and gas chambered who've done nothing wrong to you. Animals have done nothing wrong to you, and you bully them and stabbed in the throat so you can eat their body parts to feed your sick addiction to flesh. I had a gun to protect me from other violent criminals. All right, so what? I worked out abusing animals and human beings is wrong, is morally wrong. And I changed my life around, and now I adhere to that consistently. But you're too pathetic to analyze your own hypocrisy, and you continue to fund the abuse of innocent animals who have done nothing wrong to you, and then use an argument like, oh, Joey, you're positive but because you had a shotgun. Who gives a shit? I was in gangs, mate. I already told you that. Like, anyways. And no, don't worry, guys. I'm just like day one I got on YouTube. Told everyone I'm 2 years sober. I'm so glad to be out of the place I was in. 400 videos ago, I started telling everyone about my business, you know, because it was part of my personal growth. It was part of my personal growth to be accountable for my past and to move past it, you know what I mean? So it's funny how the media even think they got dirt on me when I was the one to originally tell everyone. You know, I told everyone about, like, my past of violence, my past of drugs, and my past of, you know, gangs, and, you know, and how I transformed my life. It's inherent in my speeches and in my story. So yeah, You act like you found some dirt on me when it's hilarious. Absolutely hilarious and pathetic. So yeah, piss off, mate. Someone says, I love you, Joey. I love you too. Woo! Sorry I'm talking so loud, but I'm right next to a highway here. Just walking to the gym. Paula says, I adore you. Thank you, sweetheart. That's really sweet of you. People need to leave Joey's past alone. He's a great man. You know what? No, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, because it's not an argument against the philosophy of veganism. People use my past as an argument against the philosophy of opposing animal abuse, which is ridiculous. People use my past as an excuse to go and torture animals who've done nothing wrong to them. Where is the logic there, dude? So you're saying because I did something bad before, you can do something bad now? Huh? Where's the honor in that? There's no honor in that. Absolutely no honor in that. You know what there's honor in? Admitting you were wrong, admitting you've done some things bad in the past, you know, being honest with yourself and changing. That's where there's honor. That's where the honor is. All right? There's no honor in sitting there in your little computer at home going, oh, Joey had a shotgun. He thinks he's all positive. Like, you know, it's just pathetic, dude. Like, have some courage to speak up for what's right and to stand up strong, you know, and defend the vulnerable and innocent. And, you know, so 1 second in a room with me, I bet you I would make you see different. 1 second looking into my eyes, I bet you I'd make you see different. You know, I have the courage to go my own way and to speak up. You have no honor. Okay, the vegans out there who realized what they were doing in their life was causing unnecessary harm, and were honest with themselves, put their ego to bed, and decided to change their lifestyle based on that, are the most honorable, courageous human beings on earth. Okay, the most honorable, courageous human beings on earth. And they're the ones who will change the world. They're the ones who will change the world, not the pathetic little trolls who sit on their computer dropping comments from behind a screen. It's the activists of the world who change society. The activists of the world, not the pathetic trolls who just, you're going to do nothing to change the world. I want you to wake up and stand for something that matters. You know what I mean? Stand for something that matters. What have you done in your life? You know, like, what have you done in your life to make a difference on earth? That's what I want to know. What are you doing every single day to create some form of positive change on earth? Ask yourself that every time you wake up in the morning. I'm compelled every single day to create change. What are you compelled to do? Come into a live stream with a vegan and start poking shit at his past and his past character? What does that do to create change? Does nothing. It makes you look like pathetic. Eric, let's try to get him to respond to donation message. Yeah, super chat. Vegan Achelago. What do I think of you? Dude, don't ask me silly questions. I don't even know you, brother. Oh my God. What do I think of you? You're probably a nice guy. I don't know. What do I think of you? You're probably a really nice guy, genuine-hearted, and if you're a vegan and you've worked something out, that's really positive. And yeah, if I met you, I probably think you're a really nice guy. How do I deal with stupid vegan relatives? Oh, sorry, I read that completely wrong. How do I deal with ignorant non-vegan relatives with their stupid anti-vegan comments? How do I deal with relatives when they're all going to eat dead animals and animal products in front of me? Talisha, okay, let's get into this with you, because this is a very common thing and we might as well address it now. So when it comes to friends and family, there's a psychological thing going on here. And I haven't really pinpointed what that is. They're less likely to take you seriously. I'm not saying that's the case in all families, but for the most part, what I've noticed is family are less likely to take this message on from you. And because they've known you your whole life, you know, like, not all families are like this, not all family members are like this, but some of them are. So it's usually fathers, it's usually the guys, I'm going to say that. It's not even sexist. It's just objectively true. Usually the dads or the male family members that are more, just, I don't know, they just got something to prove. They're less likely to show compassion. They've just never been taught to feel emotion properly. Mums are usually more supportive, but sometimes mums can be hard as well. But look, if your family, there's no reason for you to sit at the table when your family are eating animals that are tortured and killed, if you don't feel comfortable with that. Why would you put yourself through that? There's no reason to do that. Like, I understand that your family, you have to hang with your family and spend time with them, but you don't have to spend time around the corpses of animals. Yeah, there's like 1,000 other things you can do. You don't have to sit around food with them if it distresses you that much. Also, if your family have given you that much backlash with this topic, that means it's time for you to pull back with it. Plant some seeds. Let someone else tell them via a video, like a James Aspey speech, Gary Yourofsky speech, Earthling Ed speech. Someone who has a really good speech, bite-sized vegan speech, Freely the Banana Girls channel. Someone else can tell them. Dairy is scary video. Usually, if it comes from someone else's mouth other than a family member, they're more likely to listen. But if your family are giving you lots of pushback, the time has come for you to pull back. And what I want you to do is to find an outlet that is not your family. So find an outlet to advocate this message that is not your family. So social media, spread the message. You can influence so many people. You can influence thousands of people to change. Your family are a few people on earth. And I know there's an emotional attachment to them. You really want them to change. But you could be spending all of that energy on changing people who want to hear this, who would be grateful for you to tell them about the dairy industry and the inherent cruelty and, what red meat is doing to people's colons and what it does to the animals in slaughterhouses. A lot of people would reach, or whether that be starting a massive social media page where you just boom, 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 just dropping truth bombs all day, and maybe your family might see that. Maybe you can use social media to communicate this message. But my advice to you would be pull back. Drop little seeds with them. You got to know your boundary, and with me and my family didn't want to hear this. I couldn't, they wouldn't change straight away. So I just got on social media and I started letting go that fire that I had in my chest, wanting to change people, wanting to inspire. I let that go on YouTube. I let that go right now. Like, look, I'm letting it go right now. I know. See any of my family here? See any of my non-vegan family here? No, but a lot of my non-vegan family watch my videos. They watch my videos. And Can you guys see me? Sorry, it just disconnected for some reason. But look, you're using your precious energy on wasted, on ears. It's like falling on deaf ears. It's falling on deaf ears when you could use that energy on people who want to hear this message, and you find them people via Anonymous for the Voiceless. You know what I mean? Go out to Anonymous for the Voiceless, stand around the cube. People stop because they want to talk about it. They want to know what's going on. Get into it, People who are trying to put Joey down, you have the power to do it over the computer, but could you do it face to face? They don't actually have any power over me. Someone said, go kill myself. That's really this is where you start getting into 12-year-olds telling you to go kill yourself. At one stage of my life, I was thinking about it, One stage of my life, I was thinking about that. And I've actually put a gun in my mouth because it was all falling apart. But now I would never think of that. Life is beautiful and precious. And when you have gratitude for life, when you have been through what I've been through, you start to see life with more gratitude. And I would never jump on the internet like a little hero and say go kill yourself, because you're probably 9 years old to start with. But I realized how precious life is. And, that sort of disregard for life is why the world's so messed up, eh? But yeah, like just a lot of people that I don't see honor in them. I don't see any honor. I don't see any like good qualities and value in a lot of people. And it's usually like, it might be 10-year-old mentalities on the internet feeling courageous to say something, but like, where's your honor? Like, where's the heart in you? Where's the, I don't know, like, where's something to, like, you're going to look back and go, yeah, like, I'm proud of myself for the things I said on the internet, you know, like, there's some things I regret saying on the internet, but for the most part, I'm like, I'm proud of what I stand for. Proud of what I stand for. Are you? Do you wake up every single day and go, I'm proud of what I stand for? I can stand for this on national TV. I can defend this because I'm very proud of what of my moral position when it comes to animal abuse, and you know, or do you just look in the mirror and go, I'm going to go troll someone and tell them to kill themselves because, you know, whatever, like, we love you, Joey. You're an asset to the movement, and your dedication to the animals is inspiring. People like you doing what you do, animal liberation will be achieved in no time. Thank you so much. Someone said the video of my past was intense. Thank you. It was intense to make, and I was just really I've got multiple videos about my past on online, but that was my 6 years sober. 6 years sober, and I was really nostalgic, and I don't know, it was just a nostalgic moment for me, and really emotional. Getting closer to the gym. This has been an hour live stream. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hi, I'm an ex-vegan. What did I do wrong, my G? An ex-vegan. Veganism is a moral principle. So like, it's an ethical position against the exploitation and harm of animals. What you did wrong is you didn't focus on the victims to start with. And I don't know what you did wrong in your dietary choices and lifestyle choices, because I haven't analysed your day-to-day activities, but I can guarantee you've done something wrong. You didn't do it right to be an ex-vegan, and you didn't focus on the victims. I hate it when people say to me that their veganism is a phase. That veganism is a phase. No, it's not. It's just like saying anti-child abuse is a phase. No, you're either against child abuse or you're not, or you never were, or like you're either against unjustified animal cruelty or you're not. Like, which one is it? Do you pay for animal abuse or you don't? Joey, I'm not vegan. I eat fish and honey, etc. But I respect your videos and your journey so much. Congrats on being sober and finding joy from life and motivation. Thanks, quiet people. I appreciate you saying that. I wonder why. I'd also appreciate it if you looked into the message a little more as well. Like, especially, you know, fish and honey. You know, fish get a really bad rap, eh? Like, they really get a bag. They're one of the most abused animals on earth in terms of numbers. They just get ripped out, pulled out the ocean with massive trawling nets, which pull out indiscriminately, like, multiple different species on top of the targeted species, and drop them onto boats, and they suffocate and die. They might get stabbed in the head, or they get gassed with CO2 or ice baths. Fish cut up alive and eaten alive, and they're just treated like objects. And you know, I feel like fish are the forgotten species on Earth, and it's a real shame. Like, and honey is just inherently cruel and exploitative. They cut the wings off a queen bee. They kill the males to inseminate they squeeze them to get the semen out of them, crush them, inseminate the queen bee. They enslave the queen bee in these hives. It's just really, honey is like a sweetener we have 100 alternatives for. Like, we have multiple different types of sugar. It's just so, I don't know, I just feel like it's really selfish of humans to want to take that from bees as well. when we have so many different plant sugars like agave and maple syrup and golden syrup and fruit sugars and date syrup and like so many derivatives of cane sugar that you couldn't count them. Like, and we still want the honey. It's just crazy. It's really unethical and selfish. I told my friend eggs are unhealthy, and she just said, "Well, everything in moderation." How do you respond to that? The fact is, if you've got a baseline cholesterol of, like, say, a vegan's baseline cholesterol, and you add a few eggs to that diet, you spike your cholesterol. So eggs in moderation, I would argue, kills people. You can check up, go to nutritionfacts.org. It's a really great resource for studies, and just type in eggs are healthy. Are eggs healthy? And you can get some really good information. I was strictly plant-based for a few years, and the other day I tried out strictly plant-based. I don't know what that means. I know beef brisket is from the body of a murdered animal. But anyways, guys, this has been a really good live stream. I'm nearly at the gym now, and Irish David is a cholesterol denier. Oh, cholesterol is bad. Which type of cholesterol? The one that we produce in our own bodies isn't obviously bad, but the dietary cholesterol is bad. Is bad. It builds up in your arteries and kills people. Enjoy your day, Joey. I burned my hand and now I can't tofu egg wrap. Earlier said vegan body because you said vegans can't get protein. Yet PEDs doubles the requirement. Yeah, so if you take steroids, this is a great point to make, Hench Herbivore. I just want to say this point because it's hilarious when anti-vegans look at vegan bodybuilders and go, well, they're big because they're on steroids, right? And then in the same breath, they go, you can't get enough protein from a vegan diet. Okay. So which one is it? Vegan bodybuilders are big because they're on steroids? Or you can't get enough protein from a vegan diet? Which one? Because your requirement for protein basically doubles when you're on testosterone and steroids, because you need to produce that much more muscle. So you need to double the protein requirement because you're growing so much. What, you think you're just going to grow muscle with steroids alone? You need building blocks. Steroids stimulate the muscle growth, but you need the building blocks. So you need the protein. And if you're saying like vegan diets are deficient in protein and you can't get big on a vegan diet, well, what are you talking about, dude? You're just basically reinforcing the fact that vegan diets have a sufficient amount of protein, even more than sufficient. More than sufficient. So yeah, which one is it? Which one is it? Anyways, guys, much love to you. Veganism, Joey, you're beautiful. You are okay. So it says, hi, Joey. Are you spiritual because you have a beautiful soul and you finally found your pathway? Thank you. I guess I do. I don't know what you mean by spiritual. I guess I have, mate. I have conscious awareness because of my struggles I've been through in my past, and I've had like a series in my life of enlightenment and epiphanies, which kind of led me to find alignment in my heart. And I guess you could say that now I attract the life that is in alignment with my values. And I guess you could say that's spiritual. Depends on your definition of spiritual. But yeah, much love to all you guys. Just rocked up to the gym. Had to do a workout, and I'll speak to you all soon. I think I'll do more of these YouTube live streams. Peace, Brittany. Thanks, William.